Breaking news, Meri Brown and Kody Brown back together in secret, Robyn in tears. Meri Brown has been reflecting deeply on the years she spent married to Kody Brown and where their relationship stands today. The Sister Wives star has never shied away from acknowledging both the highs and lows of her journey with Kody, and in a recent podcast conversation she opened up even more about what life has looked like since their divorce. Her words carried a mix of honesty, vulnerability, and a sense of acceptance as she looked back on a marriage that she herself described as a roller coaster from the very beginning. Meri and Kody were legally married for over 2 decades before their lives shifted dramatically in 2014. That year, Kody legally divorced Meri so he could marry Robyn Brown and adopt her children. At the time, Meri says, there was a plan in place for her marriage to Kody to continue on a spiritual level, even if the legal arrangement changed. She admitted during her appearance on the I Do, Part 2 podcast that she and Kody had sat down together and made an intentional choice to keep their spiritual marriage intact despite the legal divorce. She recalls believing that the love, the family structure, and the commitment they had would still carry them forward. For a while, that plan seemed to hold. Meri and Kody stayed connected, and she continued to see herself as his wife even though the paperwork no longer reflected it. But time revealed cracks that could not be smoothed over. According to Meri, the relationship eventually began unraveling in ways neither of them could ignore. When asked directly how their intentions had derailed, she admitted that their problems were not unlike the struggles faced by countless couples. Every marriage, she pointed out, encounters issues. The question is always whether both partners are willing to face those struggles and work through them. For her and Kody, the answer became clear over the years: they simply were not willing, at the same time, to put in the work that was required. Their marriage, already filled with highs and lows, gradually slid toward an ending neither could stop. Looking back, Meri acknowledged that their marriage had always been a turbulent one. She described it as full of exhilarating highs but also painful lows, a mix of good memories and bad ones. It was, in her words, a relationship that carried joy alongside frustration, passion alongside disappointment. For a time, the bond held strong enough to overcome the struggles, but ultimately both partners reached a point where they were no longer committed to fixing what was broken. In Meri's view, that is the heart of why things did not last. If only one person is trying, or if neither is fully willing to make the effort, the marriage cannot survive. The final end came 8 years after their legal divorce. Meri made the choice to terminate the spiritual marriage through their church, officially closing the chapter on her life as Kody's wife. Yet, even though their marriage is over, her relationship with Kody is not completely severed. She describes their current dynamic as another roller coaster, unpredictable and marked by both closeness and conflict. On one day, they might find themselves yelling at each other and demanding space, and then within days or even hours they might be hugging and offering forgiveness. For Meri, this is simply the nature of their connection now, volatile, complicated, but not entirely devoid of care. Despite the difficulties, she insists she does not harbor ill will toward Kody. She recognizes qualities in him that she admires, even if they are tempered by frustrations. She calls him charismatic and admits there are things she wishes he would change, just as she knows there are things about her that he likely wishes were different. The clash of values between them is something she sees as central to why they could not make the marriage work. When two people try to impose their perspectives on each other, conflict becomes unavoidable. Rather than continue pushing against each other, they eventually had to accept that their paths were no longer aligned. Meri speaks with a mix of compassion and disappointment when she talks about how both she and Kody have changed over the years. She believes that change is not only natural but necessary. To live, in her view, is to grow, evolve, and hopefully improve. She hopes that both of them will continue to work on themselves, to strive for better, and to move forward without judgment of one another. Yet she cannot ignore that some of the changes she has seen in Kody have been painful to witness. One of the areas where she feels this most strongly is in his role as a father. When Kody was younger, Meri recalls, he poured himself into fatherhood. His children were at the center of his world, and he devoted himself wholeheartedly to being present in their lives. Parenting was, in her eyes, one of his strongest qualities. But in recent years, she feels that part of him has diminished. With heartbreak, she describes how some of his children are longing for a deeper connection with their father, yet they are not receiving the effort they need from him. She cannot say with certainty that he does not try, but from her perspective, the effort is not visible in the way it once was. To see children who crave a relationship with their father and to see that relationship strained is, for her, deeply saddening. It contrasts so sharply with the image she holds of Kody as a young, engaged dad, and the difference leaves her grieving for what has been lost. Still, even as she voices these criticisms, Meri avoids casting Kody as a villain. She is clear that she does not view him as a bad person. Rather, she sees two individuals who grew apart, whose values no longer matched, and who could not find common ground despite years of trying. Their marriage, while filled with both love and conflict, was ultimately not sustainable. Now, their challenge lies in navigating a post-divorce relationship that still ties them together through family, history, and lingering emotions. Meri's reflections reveal a woman who has made peace with the ending of her marriage but who also continues to process the layers of what that marriage meant. She speaks openly about the moments of joy, the moments of pain, and the lessons learned along the way. She acknowledges the changes in both herself and Kody, recognizing that life requires growth and that growth sometimes leads people in opposite directions. Above all, her words carry a sense of acceptance. She cannot undo the past, nor can she control Kody's choices. What she can do is continue to work on herself, honor the memories that shaped her, and release the marriage that no longer served either of them. Her story is not just about a failed marriage, it is about resilience, growth, and the ability to hold space for both love and disappointment at the same time. Meri shows that it is possible to look back on a relationship with honesty, to name the hurt without denying the good, and to move forward with a spirit of grace. Even now, as she and Kody navigate their unpredictable post-divorce relationship, she maintains a hope for improvement, for herself, for him, and for the family they built together. Her story is not just about a failed marriage, it is about resilience, growth, and the ability to hold space for both love and disappointment at the same time. Meri shows that it is possible to look back on a relationship with honesty, to name the hurt without denying the good, and to move forward with a spirit of grace. Even now, as she and Kody navigate their unpredictable post-divorce relationship, she maintains a hope for improvement, for herself, for him, and for the family they built together.